Have you ever felt like your mind is trying to move forward, but something emotional keeps pulling you backward? Like you're stuck in a memory that you can't fully recall, yet you can't seem to forget either. Well, that's not your imagination. That's your subconscious mind protecting you from something it never had a chance to resolve. And so that's what we're here to talk about today in today's Mindful Monday. It's called timeline theory. So what if I told you that inside your mind is a timeline, a literal subconscious map of your past, your present, even your future, and that you can travel through it and find the original root cause of your emotional patterns and release them once and for all? So that's more about timeline therapy. So if it's your first time joining us for Mindful Monday, feel free to type in comments where you're coming from, any questions or comments you have. Also, if it's your first time and you type the word mindful, after the broadcast, I'll come back and put in a link, which if you follow, you'll receive a few free gifts, one of which is a recording on releasing limiting beliefs. It's a hypnotic audio I created. The second one is our weekly PDF bullet points of what we do. So it's called Mindful Monday Cheat Sheets, and it's bullet points of what we do each week. All right, so this is what timeline therapy does. It takes you through time and you can resolve things, especially when combined with hypnosis and NLP. So what exactly is timeline therapy? Well, timeline therapy is a powerful and proven method that helps you to go back to the root cause of an emotional issue, whether it be fear, sadness, anger, guilt, shame, limiting beliefs, and then release it from the subconscious mind. It was developed by Todd James, and it's based on the idea that our subconscious mind stores memories in a linear fashion along a timeline. Now, this timeline is how your brain organizes time, past memories, present awareness, and even imagined futures. By accessing this timeline in a very relaxed and focused state, usually through hypnosis, you can do many different things. You can float up above this timeline of your life, and you can travel back to the very first event where that limiting emotion or belief began. Sometimes we call this the initial sensitizing event kind of thing. You can understand the meaning you gave it back then, and most importantly, you can release any trapped emotion safely and permanently from this event. So why is this so important? Because most of the time, most of us have these emotional patterns that we're kind of stuck in. They aren't based necessarily in the present moment, though. They're formed during a time when we were too young to process, usually before the age of 7, at least to process emotions logically. Maybe someone said something hurtful to you as a child, and that created a belief like, I'm not enough. Or maybe you experienced a loss, and your subconscious mind absorbed it as the world isn't safe for me. So these moments, even if you've forgotten them consciously, even if you have no idea about them, they become embedded in the subconscious mind, and they can influence how you see future things in the world and how you respond to stress, how you choose relationships, and even how successful you allow yourself to be. So timeline therapy can be great for all of this. So it sounds very similar, right, to regression, except it's and I love both regression and timeline, but timeline therapy tends to be a lot calmer because you're lifting up and floating out as opposed to, reliving kind of thing. But they both have validity. So here's the thing. When we come to timeline therapy, you don't need to relive the trauma. As I was just saying, you don't need to analyze it for months or years. With timeline therapy, you can simply observe it from a distance, gather the insight, and release the emotional charge. It's gentle, it's precise, and it's fast. So, how does it work during a session? What would a session be like? A lot of folks tend to ask. So obviously it's different for everyone, but first we would guide you into a calm, relaxed, hypnotic trance through, the typical deepener means and stuff like that. And this state opens the door to your subconscious mind. Then timeline involves using NLP techniques. And through these, you'll be invited to visualize your timeline, past to future. And from there, we locate the very first time that you felt a specific negative emotion, event, etc., without reliving the pain, though. Now, once we find that moment in time, we gather wisdom that your mind has now accumulated through the years and let go of the emotion from the past. It's kind of like cleaning up the foundation of a house so that the structure, which is your life, can finally be stable again. So sounds great, right? So what can this help us with? So we already said that it can help to release different emotions that were stored up, but it's particularly effective for long-standing fears and phobias, right? For anger, sadness, guilt, or unresolved grief, for negative patterns in relationships, for imposter syndrome and self-doubt, for anxiety rooted in the past, and for PTSD or emotional trauma when used with care, of course. It's also powerful for positive change, such as installing new empowering beliefs, visualizing a compelling future timeline, and feeling emotionally lighter and more in control. Sounds great, right? So, what clients say about timeline therapy? They often say things like, I didn't even realize I was holding on to that. I didn't recall this. It's like a weight has been lifted. I feel neutral about the memory now, and I never thought I could. They say things like, healing one root moment resolved years of emotional struggle in just 1 or 2 sessions. So it's pretty powerful stuff. Now, why does it work so well, you might ask? Because it's speaking directly to the subconscious mind, right? We're speaking directly to it. Unlike talk therapy, where there's that logical conscious mind, so the critical factor, we would say, is kind of getting in the way sometimes. So timeline therapy accesses the emotional root directly using the language of the subconscious, which is imagery and emotion, not analysis. And that's what gives meaning to the subconscious mind. This is why it's so effective, especially when combined with hypnosis, which bypasses that conscious resistance or critical factor. So let's do a quick experiential process together, provided you're in a safe space and you're able to close your eyes. So please don't do so if you're driving a car. Come back and watch the video later. But if you are in a safe and quiet place, go ahead and close your eyes and take in a nice slow breath and just let it out. And imagine floating gently above your own timeline now. You can see or sense it as a path extending from your past behind you and your future ahead of you. And now imagine floating backward along that timeline to a moment where you once felt stuck or limited. Now you don't need to relive it, just observe from above. And from this higher perspective, ask yourself, what can I learn from this event that will allow me to let it go today? Take a moment to gather that insight, trusting the process. And then when you're ready, imagine sending love and light to your younger self. And then just watch that memory dissolve in love and light. And now float back to the present, feeling lighter, freer, and more whole. Good. Now take another big breath in and open your eyes when you're ready. Nice. It's a lovely process. So if you feel like you've tried everything else and still feel stuck, timeline therapy might just be the missing piece that you're looking for. So it's a great option. You don't need to keep carrying that emotional weight of the past along with you. You have a subconscious timeline and you can clear it out. Now, are you ready to float above your old story and release anything that no longer serves you and step into the version of yourself that's finally free? Timeline therapy is exactly what this is. It's helping you to do exactly that. So thanks for watching. Remember, the past is in the past. It may have shaped you, but it doesn't have to control you anymore. It doesn't have to define you. So let's rewrite your timeline together. And I hope this has been useful for you today on Mindful Monday. Please share this video with anyone that you feel it can help, and remember to hit like or subscribe as well. So thanks for joining us, and make it a great one.